Hi, my name's William and I'm an insolvency officer here at Waterstone Insolvency, and I'm joined by Kelly,
Hi, everyone.
who's a lawyer here at Waterstone Insolvency. And today we're going to discuss two key bits of legislation which liquidators use to recover funds into the liquidation. Section 297 and Section 298 of the Companies Act.
So, with Section 297 of the Companies Act, this relates to transactions at undervalue. And I think the first important thing to know about this section is that it can apply to anyone that does business with the company or enters into a transaction with the company. So, what a transaction undervalue is where a company sells an asset to an individual or an entity, and they sell this asset for a value that is less than what the actual value is. So I'll give you an example. A company sells a truck for $25,000. The truck has a value of $40,000. The liquidator can then claim back the $15,000 from the entity or the person that entered into the transaction with the company. A couple of important things to note. The transaction must take place within a specified period. Now, the specified period is 2 years. It would be 2 years before the date of the commencement of the liquidation. If it is a court liquidation, then it would be 2 years before the application is made to the court to place a company into liquidation. So that's the first requirement. The second requirement is that when the company entered into the transaction, that it was unable to pay its debts, or that because of the company having entered into the transaction, the company is now unable to pay its debts that are due. So those are some really important things about Section 297. I will now hand over to my colleague Will, who's going to discuss Section 298.
So Section 298, much like 297, focuses on transactions from the liquidated company to other parties. However, there are a few key differences. So Section 298 is transactions for inadequate or excessive consideration with directors and other certain persons. And this section is focused at transactions which involve the liquidated company and directors or other related entities of the director or relatives. Also, the specified period for Section 298 is 3 years as opposed to 2 years in Section 297. And another difference is that the company at the time of the transaction does not have to be insolvent. But Section 298 also talks about the transaction for excessive consideration. And an example of a transaction of excessive consideration would be when the company pays over market value for an asset of the director. So if a director could foresee a liquidation in the near future, he could get his company to pay $100,000 per se for a $10,000 car with the objective to defeat creditors. So that would be a way of siphoning money out from his company, which is about to go into liquidation, by overpaying for an asset. Therefore, it would leave no money for the credit or little money for the creditors in the event of liquidation.
Okay. Well, I think that that's a good summary of Section 297 and 298 and the differences. I think just to remember that the key differences between 297 and 298 is that specified period, which is 3 years for 298 and 2 years for 297. 297 can apply to anyone that does business with the company or enters into a transaction, and then 298 applies to those that are in a managerial position, have control over the company, or are related to someone that control or manage the company in some way. I think that summarizes it, right, Will?
Yeah,
great.
It does.
So thank you so much for watching another one of our Waterstone videos. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can give us a call at 0800 closed, or you can send us an email at inquiries@waterstone.co.nz. We hope that you have a great weekend, and thanks again for watching. Bye.
Thank you.